It does look like somebody saved me the headache of pulling out the factory sound deadening and all of the goop that typically holds that down in these old cars, so that's great. Oh, there's a big hole there. Oh. Also just found a good size hole here in the rocker, which is a little more concerning. That's a good size hole there. It's big enough to get the old hammer through. Hey guys, I'm Richard and this is my garage, and today we're going to be kicking off my very first vlog to cover the build up on my new project here, this 1984 GTI. So let's get to it. So I've been tinkering with these old cars since I was a little kid, and a Mark 1 GTI build has been something I've always wanted to do. And this car here came up available recently, and I was able to jump on it. So definitely ready to get this project kicked off. Wanted to keep track of my build progress. You know, back in the day, I used to would take pictures and stuff, put them on VW Vortex for a build thread, but since Vortex is basically dead these days, what better way to keep up with progress than a video log of everything that I do to this car. So the goal is to do a start to finish resto. I'd like to put this thing back into showroom condition. Definitely plan on doing some sort of engine swap, maybe some air ride, who knows. I'm not really sure what I want to do, but I do know that I've always wanted a red Mark 1 GTI, so definitely the best place to start. This car's come up for sale a couple of times over the past few years. I've kind of had my eye on it here in the Georgia area, West Georgia area. You may recognize it if you follow Facebook Marketplace in this area, or follow some of the Mark 1 pages. So it is a little rough around the edges. It's got some dings and dents here and there. It's got some mismatched panels. Somebody's pulled some cabriolet panels and stuck on here. It's got a cabriolet dash. The CIS motor in there is not running, but that's definitely going to be coming out. There's a couple of rusty spots here and there I'll have to address. I've never really done any body work, so it's going to be a bit of a journey. A bit of a learning experience for sure, but that's all part of the fun, right? So I guess to get started, we'll get to work stripping this thing down. I'll probably begin by pulling all the glass out, maybe pulling off some of these panels that I know I'm not going to be using, and we'll go from there. So I'm making some progress stripping the interior out of this old girl, and the more time I spend in here, the more things that I notice, which is pretty common when working on an old car that a lot of people have had their hands on. But it looks like at some point in the past, this car has had the paint on the inside redone with a brush and a lot of red paint. So I'll be stripping all of that off to put some new paint down. I may try to take the paint off of these window seals, see if I can reuse those, or I may have to try to find some new ones. One thing that I didn't necessarily expect to find on this guy was some rust in the floor. Now, when I first checked this car out, it looks really solid. I crawled around underneath it everywhere. Didn't really see much evidence of any rust anywhere, except for a little spot in the roof, which we'll look at a little later. Yeah, there's some rust issues going on in the floor, which isn't a deal. We'll address that, but as you can see, when you give her the old hammer test here, you know, nice big hole opens up in the floor. There's another spot over here on the driver's side that is looks like it's starting to open up. So I mean, it's overall pretty solid. There's a few holes here and there that I'll address. Not a super big deal. Definitely could be a lot worse than it is, so I'm not all that worried about that. The seat sliders are super solid. It's just basically those little small holes, which I could throw some patch panels in there. Not a big deal. It does look like somebody saved me the headache of pulling out the factory sound deadening and all of the goop that typically holds that down in these old cars, so that's great. That's oh, there's a big hole there. Oh. Also just found a good size hole here in the rocker, which is a little more concerning. That's a good size hole there. It's you know, big enough to get the old hammer through, so I'll have to address that for sure. The other side seems to be pretty solid. Not seeing any holes over here. The front side of the pans seem to be somewhat solid. I'll be pulling all this red paint off of here. A little more work than I had originally anticipated, but you know, it's all part of it, working on these old things. So could definitely be a lot worse, so I'm not all that worried about it. Now that most of the interior is out, we'll keep on cracking next to the dash, and then I'll start pulling out the glass. way she's supposed to come out. The other side didn't do that. There we go. Got her. Okay. That's all she needs to come out of there. Should come out as one piece. Pretty sure. But I could be wrong. Maybe not. Maybe these come out as multiple pieces. My first time pulling out one of these solid ones. Done the opening vent windows before, but never one that doesn't open. There we go. Out and down. The other ones, typically you'll want to turn them sideways because there's a tab in there. Just like that. And of course it scratches the paint, but it's going to get repainted anyways, right? Victory! That one out of the bottom. Now look at that. The other one put up so much of a fight, and this one just came right out. So for this back window, I'm going to use the old tried and true glue stick method. I'll probably start from the bottom and work my way towards the top. And we'll see if we can get this window out of here.
Let's give that a try. Woo! That was a close one. Yeah. Ooh. So it looks like at some point in the past, the windshield seal has been cut in half, and the cut seal was reused and glued back into the frame, is my best guess. Typically there's a lip that overhangs the windshield frame. I think on these cars they should have been a rope-in type windshield seal, not like the later cars that have a glue in. And I think that's a two-piece seal. This one should have the one-piece rope-in style, I'm thinking. And it does look like half the seal is there, and it's most likely glued into the frame, so this should be fun to try and get out of here. Well, I fashioned up this tool that somewhat resembles a windshield seal cutter. It's just a piece of wood with a razor blade stapled to the end of it, and it seems to be working pretty well. Well, I tried using my homemade tool for about an hour and was not making much headway, so I thought I would break out the power tools and see how well this thing works. I've got an oscillating saw with a round metal blade on it, so I'm not gonna, I'll be mindful of getting down to the actual frame, mostly just trying to cut through all the glue, so we'll see how it goes. So the oscillating saw made pretty quick work of that job. Somebody definitely had glued that windshield in, and it does look like there was at least half of a existing windshield seal. Looking back at the frame, you can tell where somebody had taken a razor blade or something to it before I had ever got here and marred up the paint and the body pretty good. It does look like there's some rust in here, which I had totally expected to find. That's one of the most common places for these cars to rust. And I would imagine that it looks pretty similar on the other side. But the windshield's out. Alright, well I think I'm going to call it there for episode 1 of the GTI build.
Definitely have made a good bit of progress. Got all the interior out, got most of the glass out. I'll work on the hatch next time. And then I'll start making a game plan for fixing some of this rust, and then look at some of the rest of the body and kind of go from there. I'm definitely learning my way around the camera as I'm going back and watching some of this footage. I've thought of some things that I should have filmed that I didn't, so I'll definitely be hopefully improving along the way as I get more used to talking to the camera or doing these vlog type videos. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next time. See ya.